I've been on a mad tear of appreciation and manifestations, and I'll find myself driving in the car just loving everything, loving the road, loving the toll, taking the money out of my Easy Pass account because this road is so awesome. I told the story during the break where I was on the Garden State Parkway, and it was just a beautiful road and cruising through the turns, and I was really appreciating it. And then a couple days later, I was going back to the Garden State, and I was like, all right, it's going to be nice. And they repaved it. It's even better. Now I feel like I was flying, and I'm like, I can't even tell this story to anybody because they'll think I'm a loony. And it's just, when I'm in that mode, and I've been in it a lot lately, it's awesome, and thank you.
You know what this is wonderful. You know what you just said, which is really the punctuation that we wanted to put on all of this here today, is that the fastest way, in other words, so you're reaching with a lot of fervor into your vortex. In other words, there's a lot of passionate focus that we can feel from you. And the only thing that could cause stress or go a little haywire is if you have that kind of passion amidst resistance. But then you added the exact recipe to this passion as you say, I just find reason after reason after reason after reason to appreciate. The combination of strong desire of what's coming and avid, compulsive, practiced appreciation of what is will leave you in a place of living happily ever after forevermore.
Thank you.
Our favorite day so far with you, because we have been out on the leading edge in a new way. It's interesting how we can have some of the same conversations about vortex, about contrast, about launching desires, about taking the bounce. And then a whole series of people just raise their hand and come forward to punctuate exactly what we're wanting to convey to you about this business of managing your relationship with your vortex. We've enjoyed the continual serenading of this day. It's been something sort of refreshing about it. It's like a sort of what is reminder that well-being abounds, just a constant tinkling of something delightful in the background. And we want you to realize that no matter where you're standing in relationship to what you want is only an emotion away from you. In other words, a very close emotion away from you. The predominant message that Jerry is often asking us, well, Abraham, what do you want? What's in this for you? What do you want? And we've been saying in a variety of different ways that what we want is for you to have conscious realization of what you would call potential that we would call reality. What we want is for your realization of who you really are to come fully into your life moment by moment. We so enjoy watching little ones who are full of themselves, who are not terrorized by a crowd or controlled by a well-meaning lover or parent, who just have such complete knowledge of their goodness and their rightness and their never-ending potential for joyous expansion, that they just don't take anything that you've got going on very seriously. They just stay in that knowledge of well-being. And what we want is that little by little you return to that place of knowing where you're not afraid of anything because you understand that you can take it as it comes, and that if something does show up that is unwanted, that there is a way to easily bring it back into alignment. Because until you have shown yourself that, Esther remembers when Tracy was very little, she stood in constant worry that Tracy would pinch a finger or bang her head or something would happen. And Esther was almost panicked that she wouldn't be prepared for it. And then one blessed day, while the two little girls were playing together, Tracy went running toward a French door just as Celeste slammed it shut. And Tracy went headlong through the glass door and cut a big gash in her forehead. And Esther swept her up and put her in a blanket and put her in the car and took her to the doctor. And the doctor sewed up the forehead, and Esther was liberated from that fear forevermore. She was grateful is the wrong word, because grateful is thinking about unwanted. But in those early days, she was grateful that it had happened because it had freed her from the fear of what would come next. And this is what we wish for you. We want your life not to frighten you in its potential, but to call you in its potential. We want you to feel the fullness of your readiness to respond to whatever comes your way. Because the freedom that you seek is the freedom from resistance. It's the only freedom that exists. And when you finally get it, that you can be free of resistance under any and all conditions, and once you align with the energy of who you are, that all things right themselves in terms of manifestation, now you have control of manifestation. It's such an interesting thing to watch. There are so many moving parts and so many things you can't control. So the effort at controlling them just makes you crazy. It makes you crazy, and it makes you feel unworthy because you can't control them, and so you can't make things better. But when you begin understanding your relationship with who you were before you came, and your relationship with who you have now become, when you understand the vortex and your relationship with the vortex, and you learn to manage your emotions just day by day and bringing yourself into alignment, then in time and in very short order, you will come to that freed place where you will realize that there isn't anything for you to be terrorized about or terrified about, or anything for you to ever worry about, because you can figure it out as you go. And here's the part we love telling you most. In the figuring it out, there is more zest and zippity-doo-dah than you experience under any other conditions. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain blissfully in the vortex, calling you in, 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 but never worrying about whether you're in or not. There is great love here for you.